Now, it's called earned wage access. Talk us through it.
Okay, so if it's true to its form, then you actually only get your income after you've earned it, and it's your net income. So Paytime is one organisation that offers it, and it's offered through your employer, not through them directly. So they've got to have it as an option for you to get paid. Now, they're saying they're seeing a 300% increase in inquiries from hospitality industry, from mining, engineering, so all kind of income, all type of income sources. So to give you an example, let's say you get paid fortnightly. Payday's not till this Friday. You've worked, over this period up until Tuesday, so that means you've racked up, say, $350 earned income. Let's say you earn $50 net per day. Let's say something happens today and you need emergency money. You need it now. The tyre's blown. What are your options? Do you go to a payday lender? Do you get a credit card? Or do you go through this through your employer and say, hey, I've actually earned this income. Can I access it to pay for this emergency? So you're only able to get that, and with Paytime, it's up to 50% of that amount, not the full amount.
I suppose it depends on a number of factors, right? And the size of the organisation, the size of the small business, and also there are risks involved from both sides, right?
Well, they're not all equal too. So the waged earned access, you've got to be careful. How is it structured? How is it given it to you? And what are the fees? So let's take a look at the pros and cons of these. Obviously, as I explained to you now, it can reduce financial stress. You may not have to go get bad debt to help you pay for those tyres in that example I gave you. But they do charge a fee to access. In this case, with Paytime, it's $3.50. It could encourage impulse purchases. If I know I can get my hands on this money to go, to a concert that I didn't plan for, I might get it out. And then just check if the recourse conditions are there. Some of them offer it as a loan rather than getting it out.
You've got to be careful you don't spiral, though, don't you? Like if you're getting cash out and then suddenly you're on this wave of, and then the week later or the month later or 2 months down the track, you've
Catches
got...
up with you.
Well, it took me a while to get my head around this because initially I thought, I don't like it. But if it's accessing your earned income, I mean, remember when we all probably got paid monthly because of the payroll systems. Then we went to fortnightly, some of it's a weekly. Is it just giving you instant access? What does worry me is that there are other in the market that are essentially like payday lenders, the lenders of last recourse, I reckon, or those that give you a loan and you've got to pay it back in equal instalments. That's where you... plenty of those. And that's where your example, Carl, is right, because then it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Come payday, you're broke again. And it's a reliance
also,
on it.
are there costs involved in a business just stumping up midweek rather than just one big payday for all employees?
Yeah, and this is why originally, I guess, monthly was the option because, you didn't have the technology back then, and it's the cost of doing it. So there is a cost, I imagine, say, for someone like Paytime with the employer to offer it. So not all of them can do it. And obviously they've got to drive here because they want employees to push. But have a look at, these payday lenders I am worried about because these are small loans. These are just an example. There are plenty in the market. But, $2,000 if you want to borrow an establishment fee of 20%, that's $400. That's expensive. The other option here is paying in advance. This is where it is a loan. You've got to pay it back. So I urge consumers to take care because this is not cheap credit either.
What about the old-fashioned waiting until payday?
Oh, who does that? Who does that? We want it all now. Look, it comes back to just trying to be a little bit more prepared. And it is harder as we're going through a cost of living crisis. There's no denying that. Hopefully we've reached the peak. We saw the numbers in the US, what they're like. So maybe I work on a zero budget. And what that means, basically, every cent I earn, I put a name against it. So basically you work out what your expenses are, plus your savings or investments. You've got to pay yourself first. Treat it as an expense. And then take that from your income and then just set up all these buckets. That's what I do. So that way, I do have a splurge account. I do have a, an investment account or savings. So, you go that way.
I love that graphic there. I mean, it just says everything about everything that everyone's going through at the moment. It's a fancy equation to get that zero at the end. I mean, if only it was like that at maths in year 12.
Then we'd understand it, wouldn't we?
That's right.
Might have been a few negatives there for you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Effie.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
Effie.